Okay, here we go.
You guys look great. Welcome to this special swearing-in ceremony convened for your admission to the State Bar of Michigan. You should all now be muted. A Zoom host will unmute all of you at once later when the time comes. In the meantime, please do not mute or unmute yourself. Please also keep your camera turned on, throughout the ceremony. And if you experience any technical difficulties during the ceremony and you need help, email sbmzoom@mishbar.org right away. If my Wi-Fi goes out, Justice Viviano is waiting in the Zoom waiting room, and he will seamlessly step in and continue as if he were designed to do it from the beginning. He has been recruited as my understudy. I've already told him that I want a word with the casting director when this is all over. As much as I value and rely on him every day, my sister was available for this role. Today, I also have the privilege to swear in Michigan's new State Court Administrator, Thomas Boyd. Tom is the former judge for Ingham County's 55th District Court and has been the driving force behind so many important reforms in our court system, each one aimed at bringing us closer to the ideal of equal justice for all. Most recently, Tom chaired the Trial Court Funding Commission, and he served with me on the Michigan Joint Task Force on Jail and Pretrial Incarceration. The Supreme Court Administrator is a constitutional position, State Court Administrator. It'd be good if I could get the title right, Tom, sorry about that. Article 6, Section 3 of the Michigan Constitution states that the Michigan Supreme Court shall appoint an administrator of the courts to aid in the administration of the courts of this state. With 242 trial courts throughout the state, that is a big job. When Tom agreed to take the job, we were not in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't think he knew it was coming. My colleagues and I feel like we hit the jackpot when Tom agreed to serve. And I am happy right now to introduce all of you to Tom Boyd and give Tom the floor for a moment. Tom.
Thank you, Chief. You know, it was exactly 30 years ago this month that I sat where you are and took the oath of office as an attorney, a member of the State Bar of Michigan. The oath you take today is an oath to service. Now, my family tradition and my faith tradition both suggested service was a premium. And so the invitation to service came fairly naturally, as I'm sure it does to many of you. For me, I've spent this 30 years, about half that time as an advocate and half that time as a district court judge. However, service doesn't have to be as a public official or as a public attorney. I've also spent time as a PTA president of a local United Way, and I've been appointed several times by governors to positions of leadership. Each of these are service. Today, you are called to service. Service in your family, in your community, for the government, and for the courts. As the chief has indicated, the state court administrator serves as the arm of the state Supreme Court in terms of administering the trial courts. You'll learn soon as you begin your practice that bench and bar are pivotal components of the justice system. But you'll also learn very quickly that the men and women who administer the courts are equal players in the effective, efficient administration of justice. So as you advance in your careers and accept the call to service that you hear today, you will encounter the administration of the court, and please treat them with respect, and they will you. We hope that we can, with your assistance, aid in the smooth administration of justice towards a just end in each and every individual case. Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for this opportunity to speak to the newest members of the State Bar of Michigan.
Thank you for that. And I would now invite you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of State Court Administrator according to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the State Court Administrator according to the best of my ability.
Service.
Thank you.
I now invite Denny Barnes, President of the State Bar of Michigan, to say a few words and move the admission of.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Given the circumstances, I'll begin by seeking leave to address the court while seated.
Granted.
Thank you.
Got lucky there.
First, I'd like to congratulate Judge Boyd. Judge, you're going to be filling some very big shoes, but there seems to be no doubt across the State Bar of Michigan that you will be leaving some very large footprints yourself. We look forward to engaging with you and supporting you every step of the way. And thank you, Chief Justice, for hosting this historic event. As President of the State Bar of Michigan, I'm very honored to help welcome these new lawyers to the bar, especially at this unprecedented time and in this unprecedented way. To all of our applicants for admission, well, our remote admissions and swearing-in ceremony may indeed be unprecedented and novel. You should remember that ours is an old and a noble profession, one that carries special responsibilities to our clients, to the public, and to each other. I trust that you've all read and are familiar with the Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct. As you go forward from and after today and engage in your professional lives, I encourage you to revisit the Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct regularly and frequently. Of course, we know the rules of professional conduct are a set of rules and admonitions that guide us in terms of how we practice law. But in particular, I encourage you to reread the preamble to the rules. The preamble offers a very important perspective on just who we are and what we do as lawyers. I hope you have found it and will continue to find it to be inspirational. I hope as you revisit it through the course of your career, I hope it'll serve to reinvigorate and support you as your careers unfold. The preamble notes, of course, that a lawyer is not just a representative of clients. A lawyer is also an officer of the legal system and a public citizen having special responsibility for the quality of justice. That's a pretty packed phrase there. And the preamble goes on and details just what that means. But in short, the preamble reminds us that lawyers are part of a learned profession with unique obligations. We should be rightly proud of those responsibilities because they speak to the gravity of our vocation and the nobility of our profession. And as you've already learned, resilience and problem solving are essential skills for a lawyer. Please know that we consider you to be the most resilient group of bar passers ever to be sworn in. And remember, tough times don't last, tough people do. So while the practice of law can be a tough business, this experience, I think, will prepare you for many future challenges. It's during times like these that lawyers help provide clarity, certainty, security, and a path forward for the rest of society. You know, as we've seen countless times throughout this pandemic, and indeed right here today, lawyers are excellent problem solvers. I look forward to working with you as colleagues as you add your fresh energy and your fully stocked memory banks of black letter law to help us continue to solve problems for our clients and our profession. So with that said, let's welcome the next generation of legal problem solvers. All right, there was a slight delay. Your Honor, I am reliably informed that the following people have the necessary knowledge and character to practice law here in Michigan. I move to admit the following people to the State Bar of Michigan. David Adgate. Owen Ago. Angela Alexander. Arturo Alfaro. Aisha Allos. Foraya Babar. Charles Bader. Joseph Buys. Susan Bai. William Balser III. Amia Banks. Patrick Batterson. Mimi Bazi. Lorena Bijan. Angelo Berlassi Jr. Krenisha Berry. Joshua Bassoon Dath. Mallory Blaylock. Douglas Blees. Scott Block. Jordan Boyne. Sarah Bonomo. Alexandra Bresky. Jonathan Brignall. Adam Brinley. Brian Brockway. John Brown. Keith Brown. Austin Bruce. Devin Bruin. Eric Bryson. Hedrick Burgos Amador. Andrew Bush. Christopher Butler. Victoria Butts. Daniel Carlton. Mitchell Kapp. Ralph Carmichael. Jamie Castillo. Amandeep Shagar. Fatma Shahedi. Daniela Chiara Valotti. Kimberly Crawford. Megan Daklala. Angelina Dallo. Krishna Dandamudi. Brian Davis Jr. Tracy DeVries. Heidi Diaz. Stephen Domain. Stephanie Ducastle. Kristen Finkbeiner. Ryan Fowler. Eric Freeling. Fabiola Galguera. Jonathan Glad. Jason Goodman. Sean Graff. Matthew Grove. Samir Hamade. Fatma Hamoud. William Hancock. Anthony Hong. Charles Hatch III. Charles Hayden IV. Crenisa Hicks. Joyce Hill. Meredith Hoover. Jacob Hutchins. Thomas Ice. Lisa Ingram. Julie Jenkins Breen. Rama Jawad. Anthony Juliet. Jason Jertick. Ashley Cagey. Tyler Kemper. Monica Kaltsev. Husna Khan. Jason Kaisi. Nicole Klingler. Zhangwu Li. Lindsay Lair. Louis Licata. Brant Loshinsky. Zachary Ludens. Edward Machieski. Lila Malky. John McDaniel. Caitlin McDowell. Allison McGilvery. Heather McNett. Brittany Misich. Jamil Morad. Amal Muzayim. Kristen Olson. Michael Parrish. Haley Passion. Shreya Patel. Yvonne Pirvan Keller. Thomas Peters. Callie Pinkerton. Zachary Plachetti. Joshua Plumbaritis. Trevor Potter. Nora Putras. Samuel Rayleigh. Andrew Reside. David Rosansky. Jennifer Rutkowski. Hussein Saad. Brenda Shamey. Madison Skinner. Robert Smith. Joshua Stapp. Ann Steen. Jessica Renee Stevens. Andrew Sullivan. Kelly Sweeney. Joshua Thomas. Jesse Team. Joanna Tomaszewski. Sarah Valenti. Ashley Van Fleet. Stephen Vandelay. Drew Walbeck. David Williams II. Mia Williams. Jessica Winfrey. Brittany Wozniak. And Matthew Zachem.
Thank you, Denny. To the candidates, you have chosen an honorable profession. You will have the opportunity to use your knowledge and training to make an important difference in people's lives. And that fact means that you will receive in much greater measure than you will give, even though it may not always appear in your paycheck to be so. It is with pleasure and confidence in you that I grant Mr. Barnes's motion, but you're not home free just yet. The oath is not short. It has its roots in early common law dating back to the 13th century. The oath memorializes a set of public pledges you are going to make today to be truthful and faithful to the court and to your clients. It is an oath of office because today you will assume the public office of attorney and counselor of law. This is where the term officer of the court comes from. By your oath, you will become an officer of this court in its administration of justice. There will be times when you will face very difficult choices in your practices. The oath's obligations can be demanding and burdensome and can require you to muster personal courage at times when it will be hard to do that. But as a result of the promises you are about to make, you will join the first line of defense for the integrity of our judicial system and everything that our Constitution stands for. I actually mean to sound as dramatic as that sounded, because it all falls apart without you. Quite literally, we judges are only as good as the lawyers who appear before us and ask us to answer their questions. They're good questions. They're hard questions. So let's get on with it. It is indeed my pleasure to invite you to raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Back up. It's working.
It is unmuted, I guess.
Oh, why?
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state.
And
The Constitution of this state.
Michigan.
I will maintain the respect due to courts of justice and judicial officers.
I will maintain the respect due to courts of justice and judicial officers.
I will not counsel or maintain any suit or proceeding
I will not counsel or maintain
suit or proceeding
which shall appear to me to be unjust,
which shall appear to me to be unjust,
nor any defense except such as I believe
nor any defense except
such
such
as I
believe
to be honestly debatable under the law of the land.
Be
honestly
debatable
debatable under the law of the
of the
land.
land.
under the law of the land.
I will employ for the purpose of maintaining the causes confided to me
I will
Employ for the purpose of maintaining the causes confiding to me.
such means only as are consistent with truth and honor.
Such
means
means
only
as
as
are
are
consistent with truth and honor.
Honor.
Will never seek to mislead the judge or jury
I will
Will
Never
never
seek
seek to
to
mislead the judge or jury
by any artifice or false statement of fact or law.
by any artifice or false statement of fact or law.
I will maintain the confidence
will maintain the confidence,
confidence,
and preserve inviolate
preserve inviolate
the secrets of my client,
secrets of my
My
client,
clients.
and will accept no compensation
And will accept no compensation
in connection with my client's business,
connection with my
With
client's
my client's
business,
business,
except with my client's knowledge and approval.
except with my client's knowledge
knowledge and approval.
Knowledge and approval.
I will abstain from all offensive personality
abstain from all offensive personality,
and advance no fact prejudicial to the honor or reputation of a party or witness,
And advance
No
no fact
prejudicial
to the honor
reputation
of a party or witness,
as required by the justice of the cause with which I am charged.
unless required by the justice of the cause.
with which I am charged.
I am charged.
I will never reject from any consideration personal to myself
I will
Reject
Consideration personal to myself,
the cause of the defenseless or oppressed,
cause of the defenseless or the
Or
oppressed,
oppressed,
or delay any cause for lucre or malice.
or delay any cause for lucre or malice.
I will in all other respects
Will in all other respects
conduct myself personally and professionally
Personally and professionally.
in conformity with the high standards of conduct imposed upon members of the bar
in conformity with the high standards of conduct imposed upon members of the bar.
as conditions.
as conditions for the privilege to practice law in this state.
As
Conditions for the privilege to practice
those who
law.
practice law in this state.
Congratulations. You are entering the profession at its most unique moment in my lifetime. Courts are extremely high volume public spaces. People who visit them are for the most part required to be there. How we manage balancing protecting public health with protecting access to justice is complicated and high stakes. The British scholar Richard Susskind, who has long been advocating for the text revolution coming for law, reminds that our focus should always be on what the public wants. He uses the example of the manufacturer of power tools that tells its new sales recruits that they don't sell drills, they sell holes.
Just about.
Because it is holes that their customers actually want.
Going through, talking about something.
So the analogy goes, clients do not want lawyers and judges and courtrooms. They want fair outcomes for their disputes. Delivering fair outcomes for everyone, including the great majority of people who can't afford lawyers, will involve tech innovation, regulatory reform, and some big ideas. And most of all, creative problem solvers who will keep us focused on delivering fair outcomes. We are undergoing a whole lot of change extremely quickly right now. We have to make sure we use this opportunity to replace processes that don't work for most people even when they work for lawyers and judges with processes that do. Lawyers have brought about important big societal changes throughout history. The centrality of procedural due process, for example, so basic to our legal system today, was ushered in through cases like Goldberg v. Kelly. As you know, in Goldberg, the Supreme Court held that the Due Process Clause requires that before a recipient of government benefits can be deprived of those benefits, she is entitled to an evidentiary hearing. And so now due process likewise protects any legal entitlement. And structural features of our criminal justice system that we consider so basic today were the result of lawyers' work in cases like Gideon versus Wainwright. Clarence Gideon did not have a lawyer, of course, that was kind of the point. The US Supreme Court appointed Abe Fortas to represent him pro bono, and his work fundamentally changed how our criminal justice system functions. We need your skills, we need your ideas, we need your creativity for our own profession's future. The practice of law needs its Gideon. It needs its Goldberg. And I believe I'm looking at it on my computer screen right now. I can't wait to watch all of you build a better legal system. So have at it. Bring us equal justice for everyone, for all Michiganders, and even Michiganians. Thank you for letting me be part of your day today. It's been quite an honor. And with that, this special swearing-in ceremony is concluded.